Hey, welcome to this week's Mortgage Minute with Mitch. So, the biggest headline of the past week was the Federal Reserve meeting, and they came out and raised the federal funds rate another 25 basis points. So, nothing too crazy, but we were hoping that they might not raise them anymore. So, the mortgage market actually responded favorably. So, we saw interest rates actually go down on mortgages right after the meeting because the press conference afterwards, the Fed came out and kind of said, well, it looks like we might slow things down a little bit, or at least that's the impression that they gave. So, the bond market responded favorably, and we saw a little bit of a dip in interest rate. Now, there's still a lot of volatility out there, and a lot of that has to do with the banking system. So Jerome Powell, the head of the Fed, and Janet Yellen, the Treasury Secretary, they've been really doing their best to kind of calm things and tell us, hey, we're on solid ground, nothing to worry about, but these are also the same people that told us inflation is transitory. So forgive me if I don't trust what they're saying at face value. And a couple things I want to point to that really have me worried and looking a little bit deeper into the situation. So this week, Janet Yellen testified before the House Financial Services Committee, and she was kind of grilled on the treatment that SVB got. So they got a full bailout, and she was asked, well, can all community banks expect this? Smaller banks, local community banks, are we going to get the same treatment if this happens to them, if there's a run on those banks? And typical political answer, she was very dodgy and didn't quite give a direct answer, but very much implied that the answer is no. Because what she said is, in order for that to happen, to get this special treatment and preferred bailout, the FDIC board and the Federal Reserve Board and then her and the president have to get together and determine that, hey, we got to do this because the risk is too big if we don't. So much for equal treatment for all. Now, I get the logic behind it, but forgive me again if I don't trust their determination as to who gets a bailout and who doesn't. So hopefully we don't see a run on banks and it's a non-issue going forward, but just know that if it is, your bank might not get the same treatment that they got. The other big thing is the Fed actually added $400 billion to their balance sheet in just the last 2 weeks. Now, the reason that's important is they came out and to try to calm things, they said, hey, if you have these long-term treasuries and you're only getting 2%, we'll buy them back at face value. So you're not going to lose. You can trade them back in essentially for what you got them for. Now, that sounds like good news, except for the fact that if you're borrowing money from the Fed, it's kind of the last resort. Most banks tend to borrow from each other, and the going rate right now is about 4 3/8 if you're borrowing from the Fed. So banks borrowing are actually losing almost 2.5% on that money. So sure, they're getting it back at the 2% they got it, but they're borrowing at 4 3/8. So banks don't like to lose money. So that's a big concern right there. And if banks are losing money to stay liquid, to get money or cash in their coffers, that's a concern as well. So I'm not here to tell you the sky's falling. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I'm doing my best to understand this as I learn, and I want to share with you what I'm seeing. So again, forgive me if I don't take these people at face value. I am certainly not qualified to give you banking advice, but I'll do my best to report things as they come. So as far as news here in the land, Cavaliers magic numbers 2. They had a big buzzer beater last night against the Nets, so they swept their little 2-game series there with them. Looks like they're going to finish in 4th place, and we'll see who they're going to play. It could be the Knicks, could be the Heat. They're kind of neck and neck here in the stretch. Only 7 games left, and we're actually 6 days away from opening day. Now, the Guardians are going to be starting the season late night, so they got a couple series out west. They're going to be playing like the 10 o'clock and the 9:30 games, so that's what we have to look forward to the first couple weeks before they come home for their home opener. And then lastly, Team USA lost the World Baseball Classic to Team Japan 3-2 this week. So it was a huge deal in Japan, and it actually got the highest ratings that ever got here in the States. So if that gets a little more advertising behind it, that might be like the next World Cup as it is for soccer. So maybe not quite that big, but definitely seems to be gaining momentum. So yeah, I'm here if you have any mortgage questions. Would love to help you out. Let me know what I can do. And if you got this from the video, please take a moment to like this video. Feel free to share. As always, let me know if there's any comments or questions you have. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.